We can. Did we lose me or did we lose Jason?
Still see you, but you're frozen. Oh,
I think it's
now I see you blinking. Uh-oh. We are live.
Yeah,
Good
it's Jason. Jason's in negative degree weather. The internet does not want to work, but good morning, everybody. Thanks. Yeah, he's a bit off. He'll come back, hopefully. Good morning, everyone, to this, what is it? It is the 28th of December. Thanks for joining in today. We are going to talk about all things studio that are not possible in the studio. Like always, this is an open time for you to ask any questions around review as a whole. I'm going to actually start off one. I see you now, Jason, moving. You probably talk.
Can I talk?
Yeah, you're good.
I was just going to mention in the chat, it's below zero here. It's going to be below zero here, Fahrenheit, for at least 5 or 6 days. So I expect my internet to be sort of weird. So yeah, the comment about Jason is frozen. It doesn't just mean the Zoom chat and technology. It also means I'm wearing a coat inside my office because it's cold in here.
Yeah. Fortunately, we have some good weather out here, but we're going to talk all things studio, what you can and cannot do. We'll start off today. I had a support question come in later. I mean, not later, before we took off for the holidays. And by the way, we'll be taking off again, but let's talk about this issue within what you can and cannot do in studio sessions, not projects. We're talking about sessions today. Again, any questions is open in the platform. But one of the support ticket issues was how can you create custom statuses while you're in a session? So let me open up Studio. Studio is a panel that looks like a house. And from here, you have this icon that looks like a piece of paper. Does anyone know if Zoom has like a
stuff?
They have a spotlight.
Oh, I don't know. I just use the control.
They don't have like a.
Oh, you just had a red dot on your.
Yeah, but there was an app when I was going through the BCI trainings. One of the guys there had an app where it zoomed in for you. So like if you pressed something, you could zoom in.
Oh yeah, area. I know that trick. Let me find it.
But projects is a piece of paper, and then you have studio, which sessions, which looks like a whiteboard. Now from in here, if we go into an open studio, you do not have the ability to create a custom status in the session. So that is one no. I'm actually going to create a list because I want to have a full list of what we can and cannot do.
As you're going to write these down?
I'm actually going to type it out because I want to create a piece of paper that has this. And maybe if some folks want it, we can share it.
Yeah, because it always comes up with support tickets, just like you said, like, I'm trying to do this. Well, you can't do it because you're in a session. And, this sort of builds on what we've done what we did last week when we did our little gingerbread house contest. We're doing stuff live in a session and there's certain things you just can't do. So let's document it if we can.
So status. Okay. So you can't create a custom status, but what we're going to do is show you what you can do to get a custom status in there. We're not going to just tell you can't. But in here, you click your drop down and you can't create a custom status. So I'm going to leave this session. I'm going to create an MCR session here. MCR 12/28/21. I'll invite.
Let's stop right there. So since we're starting a new session, in a session name, are there any limitations to characters?
We're going to find out because I don't know.
Because can you do like an ampersand, or can you do, yeah, because sometimes you do get weird names.
So you can't do the money sign.
Okay.
You can't do dashes, I'm guessing.
Oh, //
//
Huh.
Can you do a dash? You can't
Yeah.
do a dash.
Okay. So limitation 1 right there. In the session name, you can't have certain characters.
So from here, it is restricted. I'm only going to let Jason in here.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Do I have you in a group? This was not working the other day, by the way.
The email groups?
Outlook, if I do Jason.
That's a whole lot of emails.
So if I go back, see, it won't even.
Oh,
it didn't pick it up. So
interesting.
maybe
you got to go type and paste.
Yeah. So let me go over here.
So I wonder if this limitation comes from the Outlook side of things and some of our recent updates with
it could, because it used to
two-factor
work
and all that other stuff. So is this
Yeah.
a internal ATG IT thing, or is this global?
I didn't think about that part, actually. So we have some upgraded security here at ATG. So I'm wondering, Jason was saying that he wonders if that is the cause of this.
I think it could be. It's certainly one of those things that has been. Oh, there we go. Invite participants.
Okay. So currently there is no custom status. Is all this in Windows 10? Yes. And I believe Review now works with Windows 11, by the way.
I haven't played with Windows 11 yet. I really want to.
Yeah, we don't have Windows 11. So
I know some people do. Anybody out there tried Review with Windows 11 yet?
I saw an update there was up here about Compatibility Chart. That's where it was.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Let's see. It is not.
Huh. I wonder how old that is, though. Because there are some things on the Bluebeam support website that are a little old.
I would figure they would update this pretty.
We know who to talk to.
We can get a better answer. But usually, I mean, when Windows 11 comes out, when Windows comes out as a whole, it takes a little bit because they don't release that they're coming out with it to some software developers. They're not like, hey, everyone that uses Windows 10, that we're coming out with a new solution, and it's going to be Windows 11, and everyone get ready, and here's all the information on it. So let's see.
Got an
email. I don't trust this file.
That's kind of sketchy.
I would maybe check this if anyone is running.
We did find
Peep on Bluebeam yet. Because Reddit does have some threads that are viable. And it says right here, and that's 2019.
Oh.
And I'm not going to make a bet, but if I were a betting man, are they going to even let you use older ones on Windows 11?
Yeah, Chris, if you get a new BIM box, it does come with Windows 11. And I have seen a number of internal folks here at ATG with Windows 11, but I haven't confirmed if they are Bluebeam Review users, but I'm guessing it's going to work fine. They would have said something. Because it's been out for what, 3-4 months now, officially. I know the beta was out earlier than that, but
we can get you an answer for the next morning coffee review. Well, actually, I don't want to guarantee that because they may be out. But we can.
Oh, for the holiday,
yeah. So we can get you an answer as soon as we get a reply. But usually it's pretty instant. We just don't know if somebody's out of town for that. So we'll shoot a message out, write a note down for that, Jason, and we'll get you an answer on Windows 11. That's a good question though. But
did
let's
get an
go.
email from you saying, hey, I can join a session to start collaborating. I've been invited to collaborate on a session in a Bluebeam studio.
So let's talk about custom statuses. So I know one of the great parts about custom statuses is changing colors. So currently right now, let me save this out as a PDF, save to disk, and we'll save this to my desktop here. And then I'm going to go into this session here and I'm going to add this one that I just saved to my desktop. Now, if I go and add this to my desktop before I make a custom status, that's the issue. Where is this?
Weird. Did you get lost? Did you freeze? Are you deep in thought?
Could have swore I hit save to. I'm not frozen. You're frozen this time.
Oh,
I was frozen. I was like, I'm not frozen. You're frozen. But
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Where is this? I literally just saved this.
I can't see.
You know what? It's probably because I have things on second screen, so it doesn't organize these properly in the file explorer. So if I open this PDF in the session, by the way, this is your indication. Are you working on a PDF that's in a session, a project? Your icons are up here. I guess projects, when you're opening it up, it just opens up regularly. So you don't get an icon, but in sessions, you do get an icon saying, hey, you're in a session on this PDF. But back down to here, see, don't have the managed statuses. And if I go and make a markup, I know one of the heavily used ones is changing it to a different color. So you notice that that's been completed, that task. So if I go down to here and mark it completed, it's not changing, right? But I wanted to update this PDF to have that capability to change the color. Now be aware, this is specific to the PDF. If you wanted it for all PDFs in the studio session, you're going to need it in a profile. So you would have to share the custom profile that you've created for it to work on all PDFs in the session. If you're trying to get this to happen on one PDF set, this is going to be your workflow. Otherwise, create a custom status, then share your profile with everybody that's working in the session. Okay, there's my caveat. Let me close this out. And I'm going to delete it from here because you can't update this one here. So delete. It's cached in the cloud of AWS, specific to Bluebeam storage. And this is where that PDF lives.
Wait. If I were to be in that file and you deleted it, would it let you delete it?
I don't know. Try. Open it.
Hang on. Okay, I've got it open. Okay, I'm looking at it.
Oh, I don't want to save it. You sure you want to permanently delete it? Yes. Do you want to save a copy? Oh, I hit cancel.
Oh, because I'm curious if it's what it's going to say on my end.
Nope, you're gone. It booped you out.
Did it now? Yep, sure enough, it's blinking on my end and I am out of there. So it didn't even cache that for me, which is interesting. And I know that's because you're the admin of this particular session, but sometimes adding and removing documents is something that you can't do regardless of permission. Cool.
It just says add documents. Does that mean they can remove them? Yeah, you can just add them.
Oh,
I guess if I gave you full control, you probably delete them. Okay, so back into here. So if I close this, I close that out. This is the one that's saved locally, right? This one, because it doesn't have the icon. I would come down here and create a custom status that's specific to that color change that I wanted, right? Because they're going to stick, these custom statuses stay with the PDF. So I come down here, I'll show you, I'm going to make a revision cloud, and then I do a status here as completed. Boom, great. That's the visual change that we wanted. Let's just save this as an example here. Say back to I could have just hit save because I know where it saved it. Now this is the one I want to upload, or this is saved to my status. I mean, to my profile, right? This one is. So I could then go and share the profile, right? Either way works. I have this custom status now saved to this PDF. This is what I'm going to upload into my session. So now from here, going back down to my desktop here, open this one up. And now Jason can also have the same capabilities.
Let's see.
So let me revise something. And he should see a custom status of completed. And when he, oops, I completed it myself, my bad.
How dare you? So that's a good thing. Can I set a custom, can I say completed for you?
Yes.
Set status,
I wanted
mine. Completed. Sure enough. Interesting. Because that is another limitation. Sometimes you cannot do things to other people's markups, right? I can't move it. I can't delete it. I can't change the color of it. I can't do anything with that markup. But once I changed that status, it did change the color and did associate with my name in the markups list. Fascinating.
Yes. So statuses are running statuses of things taking place. You can create custom new line items for your statuses. So as you see here, you have your grouping and what in those groups of choices do you get to select from. I changed the completed to a green color. So you can change it to whatever color you want. I haven't tested the text one in sessions. Is it going to change the text? Because in an actual PDF here, you do have the option to add a text right here. So
I've never played with that. What does it do?
Yeah, it updates the text. So like a comment, the text changes.
Oh, okay. This has been done.
Yes. So
Okay.
you can do that portion. We haven't tested a session. But you do have that capability as well. And again, you come into here, you create they call them models, which would be like a group. And then in that group, you have your choices of states that you have available for what you're going to do. So you add an overall group, and then from there, you can add new ones over here. So if you wanted to go through and create new ones, you could. Okay.
So speaking of custom profiles, if I wanted to share custom profiles, what's the best way to do that in a session?
Probably attach it. So right here, I can just go through and review profiles. And then from here, manage profiles, export this out, right? But then you can also come into here and do tools, attach file attachment. And you can just add the BPX file here. Let's see if I have one on my desktop.
Desktop's busier than my desktop for once.
Yeah, I got some things on it. We'll just go here. So Bluebeam review. I should have some in my exercise documents. And let's see. Settings, setup. And there we go. Open. Boom. And then everyone else can just click on this. And I like to go to properties and change this to a new icon. Oh, what's this graph thing?
Yeah. The graph
I like
kind of weird.
Yeah. And then everyone else can just double click on this to open it.
Works pretty slick. All right, we've got to
scale this.
I was going to ask you that, but maybe there's a way. Got a question here from Patrick. What is the add models versus add states?
Your model is your selection from that. So if I double click, these are your models. So it's like the grouping header, and then underneath the grouping header is your choices. So this is like, hey, in review, okay, I'm going to go and look at review related choices or states. And then from there, you select your states.
So you, in that instance right there, you have a model for review and you have a model for HED statuses, and then you accepted whatever is a state. Interesting. Good question, Patrick. Can you add disciplines as the models?
You do whatever you'd like. So in here, you're just giving choices. So under manage statuses, you're just creating whatever you'd like. So we'll just say ARC team has their own. Great. What does the ARC team want to do? Let me add some states like completed. Yep.
Good question. I appreciate that, Patrick. Yeah, these statuses and these groups can be set up for different disciplines, and we've done similar things with custom columns for responsibility, right? Where you can assign responsibilities to the electrical team or the architectural team or structural team or so on and so forth. So they kind of work together.
Yeah, you're saying, hey, this is your responsibility, Jason. Then you're hoping Jason comes back and does statuses, not hoping this is part of their job description. They need to be going and doing this. And he gets to go and say, okay, I accept this. This is me. Great. So he accepted at this state and time. And then, hey, guess what? He finally completed it. And we can see at what state and time, right? And remember, didn't stay to the profile, just stayed to the PDF that we had before. So it didn't change the color because we didn't save it to our profile, right? But going back into here, now that I have this is a running statuses. These do not get removed from the markup. I can't right click and go through and delete things. If I'm right clicking, I'm deleting the markup. So if you delete the markup, the statuses go away, but these statuses also show up in your PDF summary report. So if I were to print this out, I now have a printed out hard copy. Well, no, digital, please. I have a PDF copy of this that I can send and showing statuses of things that happen, right? This was Jason's responsibility. These should say his naming that he has, and this naming is set up.
You did my work for me.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's every day. So thanks.
That's not true. And we come into here, we go to preferences, and this is his name, username right here, by the way. And this username is defaulted by your Windows ID.
Yep. That's always something that I recommend changing for a status, especially for a preference, especially if you are going to be working on a session with, other people out external who might not know your first initial last name. Yeah. Spell out your whole name. That way, if you are working with, a different contractor or whatever else, they know exactly who you are.
Yep, I agree. All righty. So that's the first item. So we've learned two things. So we have can't create custom statuses. That the one after that is session name has limitations. What else, Jason? Do you want me to continue onward, or do you have some things?
You've got that responsibility column there. How'd that get there?
That was created in the profile, so the profile had it, but that is under the markups list, and I'm in the session, so I understand now what you're alluding to, but everyone else may not. But in here, I'm in a session, columns, manage columns, and all I have is my display. So there is no custom columns in a session.
That responsibility column is a custom column. So it can be in here, but it can't be created in a session.
Okay, so let me reword that. No creating.
Yeah, cannot create a custom column, cannot create or modify a custom column in a session. But yeah, that's a profile thing or a PDF thing, similar to that status. There's all sorts of interesting behind the scenes stuff that hides in the markups list.
Also, no importing of markups.
Or exporting, for that matter.
Or exporting, yeah.
And that one has come up more than once. In I don't know if it was a support or just during a training. People wanted to compare old markups, like their 60% review with their 90% review. How do they do that in a session? And you can't really import that thing to go back and forth.
So let me put that as number 5. So cannot use overlay feature in session. Overlay, I'm going to put overlay slash, so overlay slash compare, because there's two.
What it basically boils down to is you can't change anything about the overall document. You can't add pages. I mean, there's some of that too. You can't add pages. You can't do certain things, because think about how this is supposed to be used, right? If you're going to be reviewing it and you set your status to finished, and then someone else comes in and adds pages or deletes pages or whatever, you might not have the ability, or might not even know, to go back in there and review it again. So this way, this protection from adding and removing documents keeps people from, adding information like, hey, I looked at that on Tuesday, but on Wednesday they uploaded something whole new.
Or they did a slip sheet, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. Because you can't do that either, right? So if I'm in here, you can't use slip sheeting. So slip sheeting is its own. It's allowing me to do it, but it's going to create its own PDF, not in the session.
Not only that, you got to have extreme for slip sheet.
Yeah. So I'm going to put this as one of them then, Jason. Cannot do most PDF document management.
Yes, that's probably the best way to do it.
Commands.
Ooh, good question from David, because I would like to know the answer. I know where he's going with this. Does review create a simple combined PDF with all of the markups in the end that you can open outside of a session? Right. So your markup summary.
You're talking to summary, yes.
But a simple combined PDF, because normally what happens is it wants to do that package. And I wouldn't call that simple.
Well, you don't have, this is just going to be the summary of your PDFs in a session. You can do that. So you can do your PDF summary report, your markups list summary report. You could do that as your separate PDF, because you don't have to append with hyperlink, because guess what? You cannot. So this will, because you can't add to the PDF in the session. So that's why you cannot do this. And this is your separate, right? Here's my separate. I didn't even know it did this for file attachments at school, but here's my separate non-linked attached from wherever I want to save it to. I hope that's what you were looking for.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, because there's this, which is you can do a package or record summary. This is your running record report of everything that's ever taken place.
Right.
In terms of people leaving, joining, commenting, messaging. You could do this. You could even do just the record. PDF package combines them all together. I actually created a PDF package the other day for Matt, and it's actually kind of like a zip file, but .pdf extension. You can put Excel files in there, .rvt files in there, PDFs. It literally works as a zip file, but it's .pdf extension. You open up and review, and you see all of these items in there. But okay, so that's
follow up here.
Okay.
There isn't a complete marked up PDF generated through that PDF summary. No, you'd have to export or save. So right? That was one of the things that was available as a permission.
So I guess the question was simple combined PDF. There really is no simple combined PDF. If you want to have them all as one, you can bind your files report, right? I mean, I guess, is that the simple you're looking for, where it's combining everything in the here? Because it's really not simple. It's everything. So it's the record and this.
Just a completed marked up PDF.
Yeah. So if you have a completed markup PDF, just right click and you can save as. So this one,
if you have permission,
you have to promote him to panelist, and then you can give him speaks.
How do I do that? Invite. I'm working on it there.
Oh no, you can allow to talk here. Allow to talk. There you go.
All right, David, go for it.
All right. So I guess my question more verbally versus trying to type it. If we were, say, using this session for doing takeoff, So I'm doing the trim, and Michael's doing the hardwood floor, and Jason's doing the carpet. If I was doing that myself in just a PDF outside of a session, at the end of the day, I have a PDF with all that markup on it. If the three of us all working together in a session are doing those takeoffs, those markups in the session, at the end of the day, is there a PDF record that has all of those markups attached, similar to if I had done it individually myself?
Yeah, I would just save it out as that, right? If I save this out, it's going to save that markups as its own PDF with them still in the markups list. So you have everyone's in that markups list too.
So then you'd be able to export out of that, export that markups list as like a CSV file or something along those lines at a later time.
Yes. Basically, if I come into here, let me switch profiles. And I do this where I have some estimating tools. And I come into here and I make this, right? Apply a scale to 16th.
Whoa, look at that. Oh, embedded scale.
So from in here, then I want to save this out because I want to have this as my report, right? Whatever square footage it is, like you're trying to do. And then from here, once I save this out as to my new desktop one, so I'm saving over my desktop one, then it saves it as its own PDF. I'm no longer in the session, and I have all of the markups that did take place on that PDF here from earlier. And now it's seen as a PDF outside of review, and I can go and do my document management. I can go and export as a CSV. I can exclude specific markups like authors if I wanted to. So you do have those options, like not including specific people.
And that would allow people to use that other, or one of those other PDF viewing softwares to see all the markup and everything.
Yeah, if you're trying to give somebody, like, give it to Adobe or someone that has that, or what's the other one, like Explorer, I guess. Yeah, they can see it as that extension, because I mean, you could ask them to download it, but that's always hard too.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Because also, let me add to that, if you did want someone to get access to review and join the session and they don't want to pay for review, that's okay. Because I use this in terms of contractors out in the field. We're trying to use review. The GC has it. Maybe some subs don't want to pay for it. And we still need them to get into sessions. They can still get access to Studio Sessions and some of its markup capabilities, because some are locked by the paid for version. But some of them, like, you can't export statuses or summary reports. So if I change this to view mode and I go back into my session here and open this PDF, right? I don't even have the export feature. So again, some things are limited, but their markups are still capable of using them in the session if they had the free version, meaning they install review. After 30 days, it expires and it turns into what we call you say it better, Jason. You say it.
It's view mode.
There you go. And you
or
have
view.
Yeah, view. I think it's view. It's just called view.
Yeah.
It turns into their reader version, which Adobe Reader, right? Mm-hmm. Which is better than Adobe Reader, by the way, because if you open up a PDF just by itself, you can still go through. Oh, I did a 3D PDF. Hold on. Bummer.
Break it?
No, it just takes a second to load all the data.
Okay.
You can still open 3D PDFs, by the way, but from here, I can go and take measurements on the free version of review. Let me do this. So on the free version of review, I do have the option to take measurements. They just don't stick, right? They're not going to make a markup, but I know what it is. So this is a free version still. You do have those options. You go back to paid.
Bad.
Go back to paid for view. Go back into here. Alrighty, what else? So filters, you can use the filters. What else are people trying to do in here?
So we got a follow-up question from
Just covered
Chris.
most.
Can we add the pre-made columns then to have a cost? So I'm guessing this is based upon that export that David wanted, right? So your team of estimators are working together in a session. They're all putting different markups together to have different flooring and links and stuff. And then once it's exported, then you could add those pre-made columns since it's no longer part of a session, right? So you can add those custom columns.
Or it could be in your profile. When you open up the PDF, it already is doing the magic for you. It's the same scenario as statuses. It either needs to be saved or created on the PDF and then PDF uploaded so they see it, or B, you share your profile that has them already.
Yeah. That's a good trick.
Yep.
All right. So you can't do the custom columns. You can't do the document which comparison or overlays. We still have all of our measurement tools. What's grayed out when you go to tools? So you're in a session now and you go up to tools. If you go to markup, can you do all of those? You can do everything but a flag, which is kind of an odd one. You can't flag in a session.
Okay, so let me write that down.
And I think flags are one of those things that's pretty
underutilized.
Underutilized. Maybe there's a reason for that. We should dive
into that. A flag is
someday.
like, has anyone used DocuSign? It jumps you to a spot.
Yeah.
That you need to like sign or notice. So DocuSign jumps you down to like where you need to initial. It's funny. It's like, hey, here's this document that you're signing your life for. And then, but let me skip everything and get you
right
to where you need to be.
Guilty.
But anyways, yeah, you can't do that from the markups. And then stamps, you can still do. Measure, you can still measure. Sketch to scale, you can still do. Forms.
No forms. Okay. Even though you are an extreme, there are no form creation, but that's a pretty rare thing to do for a session, I would say. Actually, no, because I could envision, people working together to create documents, not just talking about construction documents, but forms or other administrative specification type of stuff. People work together on that stuff all the time. There's no reason that they couldn't work together in a session and share the screen.
Agreed. Hyperlink can't create, and you cannot do signatures.
Right.
I'm wondering if you can sign something that's in there. So let me do this. Signatures. Creating signatures.
Yeah, creating signatures. I would imagine that would not be acceptable because then you could sign somebody else's document.
I didn't think about that.
Right.
Let me upload one though.
Or you could prevent changes. So if somebody was being a smart aleck and put a bunch of stuff in there, you could lock it out and then you'd have proof of, I don't know.
Oh, let me create a box here.
Ooh. So, I see what you're doing here. Clever.
Ooh, yep.
No signatures allowed.
So I'm just, it was creating that I'm putting in here. No signatures allowed. Okay.
But it still leaves that symbol, which is kind of annoying.
I wonder if it prints out.
Hard to say.
Deep test. Okay, so no signatures. The other one down here was hyperlink. Okay.
Yeah, no hyperlink. Which is odd. I think that one should be allowed because a hyperlink can do multiple things. I would imagine that if you go to that hyperlink, it would just not let you do certain aspects of a hyperlink, right?
I mean, you could probably still do an action. So let me select this. Oh,
No
you
actions.
can't edit actions. Okay.
So no actions. And I guess we should have started with this. We're not talking bad about sessions. We love sessions. We love Bluebeam.
Correct.
We love Bluebeam Review. All those things. Finding limitations is just, letting you know what you're in for.
And what you need to set up prior to going into a session. So
Bingo.
we're just talking about limitations because there are limitations here. And we always get asked, what can't you and cannot do? Or, hey, is this correct in terms of, is it really not possible in a session? And this is in things that aren't possible in here. I like to reflect back into here. This is why I like to use in conjunction with sessions projects, because you can then update the project copy. If you're managing the project and I needed to slip sheet, add some pages, you update the project copy, then delete this one from here. Because if it's from a session, you can right click, say update project copy. And then I can delete this one out. And then in here, I can open it up, do what I need to do, right? And then from that, add it back to the session so people see the new updated one. So I like to use it in conjunction with projects because it has that capability. I don't have to create a new project, a new session when I updated everything, kick everybody out, add them back, or just upload a new one. Either it pushes and pulls from a cloud source data storage area, and then I can bring it back into here. So either one works. But going back to this was the next one that I saw down here was flatten. So you can't flatten and you can't create a legend. So flatten.
Oh, see, that legend one is kind of surprising because that would work well with the estimating thing workflow that David was talking about.
Yep. Well, this is the same thing that you can't do layers. So if I go to layers here, oops, that's a set layers. So in here, right, I can't create a layer.
I didn't know that one. Surprising. I guess layers are somewhat related to profiles as well, in a way. Maybe a lot of profile related settings aren't allowed in a session because then it would assume that everybody would have to have the same profile for it to work right. But then again, like the default out of the box profiles should all still be part of that.
Yeah. Okay. So flatten legend, apply to pages. So you can't copy markup to multiple pages. Does this have the same wrong with the stamp? Yeah.
Good test. Good test. That apply to pages would come in super handy when, marking up a whole bunch of sets, because if you're just doing your typical or whatever. Interesting. I'm surprised. There are a little bit more limitations than I thought. Right? I had the list in my head and we've covered all those, and now we're going into uncharted territory.
So I'm at 15 things you can't do. Okay.
Editing
content. Is there any limitations? There is.
Yeah, you can't erase content. And again, that totally goes for that document part of thing. You can't alter the document if you're supposed to be collaborating with somebody and they reviewed it and here you are like deleting half the stuff, right? That wouldn't be cool. So not allowed.
Okay. So what else? You can't flag.
Can't flag.
I put that already in here.
Yeah, you did.
And search, you can still search. What other things I got missing in here? Forms, we said you can't link, can't signature.
Right.
Okay. JavaScripting. You probably still use some JavaScript in here. Let's see.
If you have Extreme.
Yeah. Well,
can you
bookmarks?
So you
can't.
No
create
bookmarks. Okay. See, now that one's annoying, right? Because we have that notify feature, which is so cool in sessions where you can notify other attendees of a certain thing, and being able to create a bookmark for them to jump to would.
But
make
you can
life
jump to the markup if you just click it.
That's true.
Yeah. If you get a notification and someone alerts you for a markup, you click it and it'll jump you to where that is. If you're on page 98 and it's on page,
Right.
I
But
don't
if you
know,
had a
in
bookmark
between.
said like, "Hey, architects," and it was calling out, multiple people to go look at the same thing, you'd have to do multiple notifications.
Yeah. Or you could click it in the markups list and it jumps you to it too.
True. There's a way
Because
to
you can still
get around a lot.
reply here.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Okay. So there tool file. Okay.
Yeah.
This is all document management. We covered in
rotating
one kind of
pages,
like
deleting
brush.
pages,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Can you still add a header and footer, or is that grayed out too? Yeah, no
Yep.
headers and footers. So I suppose that everything
Still
document.
falls under document management. Yeah.
Can't insert pages, can't do any of that.
Okay.
Fascinating.
I think that's almost it.
That's quite a lot, but it's still, again, I want to make sure that we're leaving this on a positive note. Look at all the stuff that we can do.
You can still do capture data. So people are attaching markup images in the field of things that aren't happening. You still have export capture data. Okay.
That's pretty good, because that's, again, one of those iPad workflows.
Yep.
or that mobile workflow.
Field issues, QA, QC, yeah.
Definitely. Being able to go through and add that extra level of detail is fantastic.
Yep.
So let's go back
review.
to the setup and the preferences of this.
Okay.
So your little slider equalizer button there. So when you're setting up permissions, what can and can't you do here? So you can allow or deny certain aspects, markups, markups alert, add documents. But full control would be deleting. What's the difference between full control and everything else?
Full control is like God writes. It's what you can do, what I can do. Yeah.
Very cool. Except
now, what I like to do with these is groups, right? So add your groups, so specific group users have that capability.
Yep. That's the good way to do it.
Instead of, because this is everybody, anyone that joins gets these access rights. If you're having different subs, different people, I would give a grouping versus individual and having to select individuals in here, because I could add Jason as an individual. Jason, deny everything.
That's fine.
Now he can't do any of these. He can still mark up. Oh,
I don't
no,
even want to go to.
He can't even mark up.
Party now.
He can only watch. So he can't even mark up and apply. Right now, he can't do any of those things. Now, there is one thing within the session that they did update. It was, I forget, I think it was 19. If somebody leaves a session, or I guess they would have to be removed. So if somebody gets removed, if somebody gets removed, because there's no leaving the session. If somebody gets removed from the session, can their markups be transferred ownership? Because when you have or create markups and review in a session, the owner is the only one that can change those markups. So if somebody gets the boot from the session, do those markups get transferred? And they do. So when you kick somebody from here, when I deny, did you make any markups, Jason?
I think I made one. Or no.
So I need to give you permissions back.
Yeah, because
can you mark up? And then I'm going to show them what that looks like. Okay.
Ooh, I can't Alt Z. That's an interesting one. I cannot auto size my text box. Yeah, wait. I tried it. When I hit Alt Z, it puts a red dot next to my markup. That's surprising.
Mine worked.
Okay, then.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, it's probably because you need to refresh, because remember, so disconnect, reconnect, because you weren't able to do markups.
Oh, okay. Let's go back. So I'll leave, and then I'll come back. Giving me the spinning wheel. Okay. Still won't line up the way I want it to. Yeah, I'm getting that red dot. So
Oh, this is you were here. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to give you the boot. I'm going to go to attendees and I'm going to deny access now. This is what you get. So denied users markups. Don't let someone else edit their markups. So,
careful with that, because
yeah,
nobody, even you, the admin, won't be able to modify those things, right?
yeah, I guess the best thing would probably reassign them to yourself as that user, but you get to reassign by specific people. Since I'm the only one in here, you do have the option. So it says the new editor must be on review 2016.5 and above. The denied users will not be allowed to back into the session. Ooh, that's a new one.
Ever.
Yeah.
So if you say, okay, maybe they, I mean, there's sort of some scenario where somebody left and then maybe they are added back onto the team. They would have to probably give them a different username or a different email to get them to come in.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay.
I could see that happening though. But I mean, in professional setting, right? I'm thinking like trolling. Somebody just keeps adding that person back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, okay. So then you deny the user. That'll transfer all of them over to whoever it needs to be transferred to. What else?
That is fascinating. I think we covered a lot, honestly. We found what's your list of limitations up to now?
17.
17. And some of that is, generalized when it comes to the document management. But overall, there's still, for the 17 things that you can't do, there's still 117 things that you can do. Right.
Yeah. And we're not, and I think that shines through. The purpose of this isn't to say sessions is bad. It's to let you know what you need to do prep time before you get into the sessions. I love sessions, using sessions collaboratively, simultaneously, working out in the field with sessions is a huge aspect to review, and it's free. You're not paying additional for studio sessions. It comes with any version of review, regardless of edition, and you still have access to it. And if you need to invite other collaborators into here, you have that capability. If they do not have a license of review, although I do highly suggest they pay for this versus Adobe, versus other softwares, I'm sorry, not name calling out there. You do have that option. So
two things to summarize. If you are looking to collaborate with folks on sessions, the couple things you should do for prep would be set up your profile to contain the statuses or columns that you want everybody else to have, and make sure that you have that file exported and ready to insert as a file attachment for everybody. Also, if you work for a larger firm, right? And so you've seen that there are limitations for inviting and everything else. If you work for a large firm where maybe you're not dealing with Bluebeam Review every day, but you know that people are, and they're doing these sessions with all sorts of people and whatever else, and you want to know what's going on, it's very well worth it to get into Bluebeam Prime. From there, you can go in and reassign responsibilities and deny people access to certain things. I know a lot of firms that get to a certain size, like, oh, we've got 150 licenses of review. That's awesome. Are you guys using Studio? Absolutely. How do you know people are not using this in malicious ways? Well, we don't. There is no way. Yes, there is a way. And a lot of people are surprised by this. It's not cheap, but it's relatively. It's
So
all right.
whenever I reflect on the costs, is it paying for itself by the redundancies of things we're already doing? And it does that and more because you get analytical aspects of it. So if you need to get into access to it, it's studio.bluebeam.com. Now, if you type that in yourself and you don't have Studio Prime subscription, you're going to get a very a reduced version of the Prime portal. It is just allowing you to fix or reactivate your current sessions only. What Studio Prime gets you or allows you access to is analytics and your projects. So if you're trying to pre-create a project with subfolders within other folders, you can automate this as well. So there's automatizations, there's also integrations. So integrations with Procore. Maybe you're using Procore as your document management solution currently, but they don't have markup capabilities. So you want to use what you know in Review because of the markup capabilities Review has to offer. Then you're going to have the integration capabilities, or you save it down, save it then up to sessions, which takes a lot of work. But in here, you have this Studio Prime capability. If you pay for the subscription of this and you have access to insights, so you can see what users have been doing. So if I want to go and look at a specific user, let's go, anyone that's been added into here. Oh, there's a lot of people that have been added in here. Let me go and look at Jason Artley here. And from here, I can go through and see his activity that he had, external participation. So what else has he been working on outside of what we have? Internal
side hustles. Go take a look at my side hustles.
And statistics here. So let's just look at stats. Let me go.
Because when you change it to statistics, it reset the user. Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was weird. So he has 11 projects owned. He's attending one project, sessions owned himself, sessions that he's attending, and session markups. So I didn't know that gives you a count of all your markups in the
That's
session.
new. That must be new.
Or you can go to sessions, what's happening in a specific session. So let me look at, you can see all of mine and all these other ones that we have, which people aren't using sessions that much, but I can go in and look at this demo one, which has a lot. I can look at activity. Let's do the last month. So I click through that quick. You can do activity from a span of time, what's ever taken place from here as well. I can hit go and I can see, just like the running record report, a snippet of time instead of everything globally. And I can go through here and look at everything that's taken place from here. Same thing with projects. I'm going to go to my file share because I know I always send shareable documents through here. What has happened in there? So activity from a range last month. Boom. I added a file to it. I thought I would have done more. Shared links. That's what I'm looking for because I share links through there a lot. So here's shareable links of eternity that I've done. So these are all enabled. Sorry, some are. So this is false. These are all true. Maybe I should go and manage those, which I can do from here. I can go to projects. I can go to my, where is this file share? There it is.
We're getting close to wrapping up here. So,
okay. But from here, I can also manage those links enabled. But okay. What finishing comments do you have? Oh, we're at the actual hour. I apologize. Yeah. And this is Prime.
Right. We went on a little tangent there with Prime just because that limitation thing, right? So they are tied together. You are limited to what you can do in sessions when it comes to, assigning markups and seeing controls and things like that, but also making sure that you have the tools you need if you are trying to manage or see what people are doing in sessions.
Agreed. Well, let's end it here, folks. If you do have any questions, feel free to use them in the survey. And if you're looking for something in the future on one of our MCR editions, please leave those in the comments as well. But we look forward to seeing you all in the new year, because it will be the new year when we come back and see what we have in store for you all in the future as well. But
Take
thanks,
care,
everyone.
everybody.
Yep,
Have a
thanks, everyone.
happy and safe New Year's.
Yep, exactly. Thanks, everyone, for attending today. And I'll let Jason finish up here.
That's it. Just have a happy, safe New Year. We'll see you in 2022.
See you in 2022. Thanks, everyone.